Yan, good day everyone. My name is Manuel Panganiban and I'm here to present to you or discuss with you our title for today is You as a Moral Agent for chapter 6. So, you as a moral agent. A moral agent, or according to the Google, a moral agent is a person who has the ability to discern right from wrong and to be held accountable for his or her own actions. Also, moral agents have a moral responsibility that cause unjustified harm. So, yan, yung moral agent na natin is yung mga ito yung ability natin na malaman natin kung ano yung tama sa mali. Yan. Diba? Sa pag-grow natin as individual sa ating mga sarili. Diba? Nung dati bata pa tayo, syempre, hindi pa natin alam kung ano yung tama at mali. Kaya may nagagawa tayo na gano'n na nga. Diba? As time goes by, diba? Habang lumalaki tayo, then nalalaman natin yung mali sa tama at yung tama sa mali. So ito yung ability to discern right from wrong and to be held accountable for his or her own actions. Yan. Next po tayo. Ano ko pala to para mas pakita nyo. I-read mode. Next po tayo. Yan. Who one is? Yan. Start po tayo sa physical. Physical, our capability of doing and acting. And according to the Google, relating to things perceived through the senses as opposed to the mind. Tangible or concrete. Siyempre, tangible ba? Physical. At yung mga physical na katawan, kung saan yung ating ginagalaw para gawin yung isang kilos o yung isang bagay. Halimbawa na lang, di ba? Inutusan tayo ng ating nanay na bumili ng toyo, suka. Yan. Siyempre, magpapunction yung utak natin. Pero para magawa natin yung isang gawain na yon, which is yung inutos natin ng ating nanay, so kikilos yung ating physical na katawan. So that was what you call a physical. And next tayo is interpersonal. How we socialize with other people. According to the Google, relating to relationships or communication between people. Yan. It is a relationship, yung pakikipag-socialize natin sa iba, yung we as a person, yung pakikipag-communicate natin sa iba, pakikipag-socialize natin, kung paano natin sila kausapin, kung paano natin sila i-entertain, yung ganun. Tandaan natin yun, yung physical, interpersonal. Next po tayo sa societal. The community we live in, our culture. Societal, according to the Google, relating to society or social relations. Social relations, bawat community na, yung halimbawa na sa isang community na ating tinitirahan. Yung isang community na yun is with the same culture, yung mga same pag-uugali, mga kinagawian, yan. Yung mga kultura na ginagawa natin araw-araw. This is what you call a societal. So next po tayo sa historical. The past that happened to the world and prior to the era we live in now. According to the Google, of or concerning history, concerning past events. It is belonging to the past, not the present. And syempre historical, di ba? Yung mga pangyayari sa nung nakaraan pa. Diba? So, hindi na siya tatawaging historical kapag ngayon nangyari mismo. So, ibig sabihin, it is a past event na nangyari. Halimbawa na lang is yung history o yung story ni Lapu-Lapu, story nila Magellan, story nila in KKK, di ba? Sa Katipunan ni Andres Bonifacio, nila Jose Rizal. Yan. Yung mga story na yun, which is historical na. Kasi mga nangyari na siya in past. So, hindi na natin may babalik. And so yun yung historical. So next page na po tayo. No, next slide. How moral reasoning is developed. This level 1 is pre-conventional. In pre-conventional, there is 2 stages, the first stage and the second stage. And first stage, when moral reasoning is based on it is good or bad. According to the Google, at the pre-conventional level, children don't have personal code of morality, and instead moral decisions are shaped by the standards of adults and the consequences following or breaking their rules. Yan. Sabi dito sa first stage, yung mga pag-uugali daw ng mga bata ay hindi nakabase sa kanila, sa kanilang mismong decision, which is wala pa nga sila, di ba? Hindi pa nila na-define yung right or wrong. Kaya naman nakadepende sila dun sa decision ng mga nakatatanda sa kanila. Yan sabi dito sa moral decision are shaped by the standards of adults. Yan, nakadepende sila dun sa standards sa kanilang kanilang nanay, kanilang tatay, ate, o kuya. Basta kung ano man yung mas nakakatanda sa kanila. So yun po yung ating first stage sa pre-conventional. And next po is the second stage, stage 2. When reasoning makes you choose that which brings you pleasure. According to Google, according to Olds and Feldman E76, instrumental purpose and exchange. In this stage, children's actions are based on consideration for what others can do for them. They follow rules simply out of self-interest. Ayan. So, yung mga pag-uugali ng mga bata, yung mga kanilang actions is naka-base dun sa sa consideration for what others can do for them. Halimbawa na lang is yung isang bata, di ba? Kapag umiiyak sila, their action is crying, di ba? Kapag umiiyak sila, yung nanay nila, di ba? Anong gagawin? Siyempre, maybe kakalungin yung bata o bibigyan ako anong gusto. Yan. Kasi sabi dito, for what others can do for them. So, umiyak yung bata dahil may nais siya o may nais siyang kunin, may nais siyang gustuhin. And doon sa action na yun na ginawa niya, mag-re-resolve na yung others ay may gagawin para sa kanya. Diba? Yun yung stage 2 ng pre-conventional and level 1. So I hope you understand the stage 1 is stage 2 ng pre-conventional, and next na tayo sa level 2 which is conventional. So dito pa rin tayo sa how moral reasoning is developed. Yan. This level 2 conventional, binubuo siya ng dalawang stage. Yan, the stage 3 and stage 4. So stage 3, when one's reasoning is conforming to the values of one's immediate group. And according to the Google, the first stage of this level, which is stage 3, is characterized by an attitude which seeks to do what will gain the approval of others. And yung sa mga kinikilos natin, yung mga kinikilos ngayon ng mga kabataan, which is they want to gain the approval of others. So, halimbawa na lang diba? Sa mga nagti-TikTok o kaya yung halimbawa na lang, sa best example is yung kapag magsisimba ka, diba? Which is sa mga matatanda, kapag nagsusuot ka ng ganitong suot, yung maayos sa mata, Diba? Yung hindi yung parang kita na yung kaluluwa mo, diba? Yung sinasabi ng ating mga magulang, ng mga nakakatanda sa atin. So, ito yung nais na sabihin sa atin ng stage 3, di ba? Yung nakakaganda-ganda maganda sa paningin ng iba. Maganda sa paningin ng mas nakatatanda sa atin. Yun yung stage 3. And next stage, stage 4. Dito pa rin tayo sa level 2 conventional. Once reasoning is set compliant to the standards of the society, such as in rules and law. According to the Google, the second stage, which is stage 4, is one oriented to abiding by the law and responding to the obligations of duty. Yan. So dito naman, kung dito sa stage 3, di ba? Sinusunod yung sa pananamit, halimbawa sa pananamit natin, which is na may approval of others, will gain the approval of others. Dito naman sa stage 4, yung level naman na ito, yung stage naman na ito is yung mga reasoning na to is naka-orient or naka-abide to the law. Ibig sabihin, sumusunod tayo sa batas and bilang respond to our obligations of duty. Na nagre-respond tayo dun sa policy or in laws na kinabibilangan na na in a certain community kung saan tayo nakatayo, kung saan tayo naroroon. Yan po yung ating level 2 conventionals. I hope you understand again stage 3 and stage 4 ng ating how moral reasoning is developed. Yan. So next slides po tayo. How moral reasoning is developed under pa rin siya is stage 5. Stage 5. Ayan. So it is the third level, level 3, which what we call is post-conventional. In this stage, there is 2 stages again, which is the stage 5 and the stage 6. So the stage 5, the individual now acts based on social contract, which is in agreement between 2 individuals. According to Google, in stage 5, the world is viewed as holding different opinions, rights, and values. Such perspectives should be mutually respected as unique to each person or community. Laws are regarded as social contracts rather than rigid edicts. Those that do not promote the general welfare should be changed when necessary to meet the greatest good for the greatest number of people. Ayan. Dito sa first stage natin sa level 3, which is the stage 5, yung mga our individual should act. Nag-action sila sa pamamagitan ng their own perspectives. Own perspective. Meron silang kaalaman to hold the different opinions of others, different rights and values, yung mga alam nila yung mga iba't ibang pagpapahalaga sa bawat isa, sa bawat individual, and should be mutually respected as unique to each person or community. Mutually respected. Ayan, diba? Alam nila kung paano re-respetuhin yung bawat kapwa nila, yung bawat tao sa kanilang community, or sa halimbawa na lang sa bahay nyo. Diba? Alam mo kung paano respetuhin yung magulang mo, yan, yung mga kapatid mo. So, yun po yung ating stage 5. Yan, let's go to the stage 6, which is the highest of them all is moral reasoning based on universal ethical principles like respect and justice that one is personally internalized. According to the Google, in stage 6, moral reasoning is based on abstract reasoning using universal ethical principles. Generally, the chosen principles are abstract rather than concrete and focus on ideas such as equality, dignity, or respect. In this way, the individual acts because it is morally right to do so, and not because he or she wants to avoid punishment. It is in their best interest, it is expected, it is legal, or it is previously agreed upon. So in this stage 6, so should the individual um, act because it is morally right to do so. O halimbawa na lang is yung pagsunod sa batas, 'di ba? Hindi dahil ayaw natin na ma-punish tayo, 'di ba? Pag hindi mo ginawa ito, magmumulta ka ng 500, ganun. 1,500. So, hindi dahil gusto natin na ma-avoid yung punishment na yun. Kaya natin sinusunod yung law or yung policy na yun. Because we intended to sundin yung certain policy or that laws dahil it is the best interest or expected and it is legal, diba? Dahil hindi lang dahil sa nakagawian na natin, but it is the right thing to do, diba? So, ayun yung ating stage number 6. Yan, the 2 stages in level 3. It is the post-conventional. So, I hope you learned about this stages and so on. Let's go to the next slide. Ayan. To be morally mature. Yan. Yan. This bullet is makakatulong sa atin para maging morally mature. Yan. So, let's start. Reaching this stage, one is becoming a moral mature individual, free to use his or her own power of reasoning in cases of moral choice, and not remain a creature of blind obedience to either pain and pleasure or to the demands of the group. Which means, according to this sentence or this bullet, in this stage, our moral is yung pag alam na natin yung tama at mali, di ba? It is yung pagiging mature na bawat isa sa atin. And malaya na tayo to use yung own power natin para makapag-isip o to choose, di ba? Do sa in a certain problem sa buhay natin. Halimbawa na lang kapag may dumaan sa buhay natin na ganito, we have the power, we are free to choose what is right and wrong, and we will choose the right. So in this case, moral choice and not remain a creature of blind obedience. So hindi bulag yung hindi bulag yung pagsunod natin, which is yung alam pa rin natin yung tama sa mali. And to either pain and pleasure or to the demands of the group. Ayan. So meron tayong kalayaan sa pagpili ng ating sa mga reasoning natin as individual. So yun yung first bullet natin para mag-mature yung tayo as individual morally. So, sorry. Next bullet. A morally matured person is morally informed to cultivate his or her feelings so that the person will not give in to childish emotions and not dismiss the right feelings required for a truly informed moral decision. So, next na to is, sabi dito, para tayo maging morally matured, kailangan alam natin yung tama at mali and nagagamit natin to, yung feelings natin ng tama at mali. Nagagamit natin yung feelings natin hindi lang para sa tama at mali na sinusunod natin. Diba? Yung feelings natin para mapili natin yung tama. And para hindi ito magresulta sa give in to childish emotions, diba? Hindi yung pagiging parang isip bata natin na pili in this situation yung pagkakataon na maging mali o maging tama. And sabi pa dito, and not dismiss the right feelings. Yeah, hindi pa rin mawawala yung tamang damdamin mo required for a truly informed moral decision. Yeah. Moral right feelings para required yung and ma-inform yung moral decision ng bawat individual. So ito yung next step para maging matured morally yung as individual ay yung mga sarili natin. So next stage, next slides po tayo. So ito na ba? Steps to solving moral problems. And first step, ito na yung mga step para mas-solve natin yung mga moral problems sa buhay natin. Diba? Sa buhay natin na pag nagdaranas tayo ng problema. This first step, sabi dito, determining your level of involvement, the case at hand. So, i-determine daw natin yung level, kung gaano ba kalaki itong problema na to. Ito yung involvement na pinasok ko, itong problema na to sa buhay ko. So, i-determine natin yung level na to. Kung maliit lang ba siya, malaki, o mas malaki pa. So, i-determine natin kung gaano siya kalaki. Yun yung first step to solving moral problems as individual. So, second step, establish the facts. Diba? Second step, establish the facts. So, establish natin yung mga pangyayari. Siyempre, hindi tayo magre-rely dito sa isang information na lang to. Bagos, diba? Kapag gagawa tayo na research, diba? Hindi lang tayo mag-stay sa in this simple information. Because magre-research pa tayo, di ba? Kung ano nga ba yung tunay na nangyayari dito. Halimbawa na lang ay lapu-lapu. Bakit siya tinaguri ang hero, national hero in the Philippines, di ba? Bakit siya, gusto mo ba maging information mo lang sa utak mo is hero lang siya. So, di ba, nag-establish tayo ng facts, ng katotohanan kung ano nga ba yung pinagmula nun. And ganun din sa ating mga problema to solve our moral problems, diba? Establish natin yung mga katotohanan do sa mga problema na yun. So, magre-research pa tayo, magtatanong-tanong tayo kung bakit ganito, bakit ganyan. So, yun yung ating second step. Diba? First step, determine. Second, establish the facts. So, for the step 3, third step, identify the stakeholders. People that might be affected by the moral problem or your decision about it. And sabi dito sa step 3, we must identify the stakeholders o yung mga tao na sa iyong problema ay maaapektuhan. Kung sino yung madadamay dun sa problema mo. Kung sino yung maapektuhan kapag nag-decision ka to do it, there's something or para masolusyon namin yung problema mo, kailangan alam mo and they identified mo kung sino yung mga masasaktan Ganun. This is in step 3. Yan. Sana naunawaan nyo. So, next slide po tayo. And step 4. Sabi this step 4. Determine how the stakeholders may be affected by my decision and as to what degree. And sabi dito sa step 4, determine na natin kung gaano kalubha yung maaapektuhan yung mga tao na nasa paligid natin o yung mga tao na involved dun sa problema mo. Kailangan natin na malaman kung pag ginawa ko tong decision na to, ano ba yung mangyayari sa mga taong to, sa mga nakapaloob dito? Ano ba sila halimbawa na lang sa isang kumpanya, 'di ba? Is nagkamali ka ng something ganito, kadamay sila dun sa problema na 'yon. So, ano yung decision mo? Kapag ginawa mo to, matatanggal sila. Matatanggal ba sila kapag ginawa mo ba ito? Mas maka-hurt sila. So, we should determine, 'di ba? Yung kung ano yung paano sila maaapektuhan o kung gaano kataas yung pagkaapekto sa bawat isa sa iyong paligid. And step number 5, identify the type of ethical issue. Yan. Dito sa step number 5, we should identify the type of ethical issue. And syempre, kailangan natin alamin yung ethical issue na to. Syempre, para ma-resolve natin. Hindi naman pwede na gumawa ka na lang agad ng solusyon na hindi mo pa pala alam yung issue na yun, yung ethical issue na yun, di ba? Halimbawa na lang sa paggagawa natin ng proyekto ukol sa kalinisan. Diba? Gumawa ka nga ng proyekto ukol sa kalinisan, pero in this community, in a certain community, hindi naman pala problema doon yung basura. Kundi may ibang problema pa. Mas malalang problema pa. Mas malalang problema pa. So, kailangan talaga natin na ma-identify yung pinakang issue doon sa problema sa buhay mo. Yung in a certain community. Halimbawa na lang yun. We need to identify para madali nang masolusyonan yung problem na yun. So, yun pa, step number 5. And step number 6, make ethical decision that the person might actually perform. Yan. Step number 6, sabi dito, make an ethical decision. Diba? Yung ibig sabihin na ito, gumawa ka ng decision, gumawa ka ng decision na ang bawat tao sa paligid mo ay magpa-perform din, diba? Makakaranas din. Halimbawa na lang is yung in a project nga, diba? Na hindi lang ikaw yung mag-perform, but then pati yung ibang tao magpa-perform din. Doon sa decision mo. Ibig sabihin, halimbawa, kapag gumawa ka ng decision na ganito, hindi lang ikaw yung mag-grow, pati na rin yung iba mo pang mga kasama, yung mga tao sa paligid mo. So, yun po yung ating step number 6 in how to solve moral problems in our life. So, yan po. Next slide po tayo. At yan na po pala nagtatapos ang ating reporting or discussion for today. So, I hope you understand what I'm saying. And for these stages and levels, you as a moral agent. Yan. So, sana po yung nauunawaan nyo sa bawat stage na yan. The pre-conventional stage level, conventional level, and the post-conventional level. Sorry, hindi ko nalagay yung ano niya. Yung kung anong level siya and kung ano tawag sa level niya. But this is level 3 and what you call a post-conventional love. Yan. Pananawaan niya to be morally mature. And yung mga steps to solving moral problems. So again, my name is Manuel Panganiban, and this reporting pertains to you as a moral agent in chapter 6. I hope you enjoy watching this video. So thank you very much.